Russia and Ukraine have said they will continue to hold talks on a potential ceasefire, although Monday's third round of discussions in Belarus produced little progress. Well, joining us now is Bloomberg's international government executive editor, Rosalind Mathieson. Ros, thank you so much for making the time to be with us, because I know how busy you've been. First of all, there's a narrative, it seems, in a lot of our press saying that Putin miscalculated this. Is this war going how he wanted it to?
You'd imagine that there are challenges that are showing up for the Russian president in all of this, because this war, as it gets close to the 2-week mark, is probably not moving as fast as he would have anticipated. Certainly, Russian forces are very bogged down still outside the capital and facing severe logistical challenges on the ground. Nonetheless, they just seem to have not really understood the likely extent of the Ukrainian resistance, which has been formidable throughout so far, and certainly has stopped them in their tracks in several places. So probably not proceeding at the pace he would like. The costs are obviously increasing also for him. At the same time, in the end, Russia's forces are probably superior to those inside Ukraine. Will they overwhelm Ukraine? Possibly. It might take a lot longer than they had expected. Yeah. They haven't really deployed most of their air force yet, and that's something that we could imagine seeing that start to happen a bit more. They haven't really dominated the airspace, and yet they do have the air power to do so.
It's unclear to me what the end game would be if Russia were to actually take over Ukraine, and there was a thread going around on social media over the weekend. Then what do they do with Ukraine? I mean, how many troops would they have to post there to keep a hold of this country?
Well, that's the question also. It's one thing to invade a country, it's another to deal with the aftermath of that. So the question is, do they want to have control of Ukraine via the government in Kyiv? Do they want to try and break Ukraine up into smaller pieces and have them micro-governed by proxy? Because there are, in Western Ukraine, for example, it's extremely pro-Europe. You can't imagine that they would just tolerate a very pro-Russia government there. So do you divide it up into different pieces, and then how do you control it at that point? Or do you simply say, if you get a government that's willing to recognize the separatist areas in the east once and for all as independent, separate Russia states, is that enough? But it's just very clear that overall what he wants is Ukraine to be demilitarized and under Russian control.